Hi, it's Marieta. Thanks for tuning in. In this video, I want to focus on Eb5 Reform, the new proposed bill, where I'm going to address all the new updates when it comes to Eb5 program, what you need to know. And before I even dive deeper, and I'm going to take you to my computer, I want to give you the overview. Right now, if you want to apply for Eb5 visa program, you have basically three options. Number one, you invest directly into commercial enterprise, any kind of commercial enterprise, and you invest 1.8 million. Number two is that you invest into high unemployment areas, which are the areas where there is a high unemployment rate, and you invest 900,000. And number three is you invest into rural areas. Rural areas are areas with population under 20,000. And if you are investing into rural area, you can only invest 900,000 and you're good to go to apply. But be very mindful, because obviously you want to invest into areas that are rural only if it makes sense for your business. Now, the fourth option is regional center projects. This is actually indirect investment. And with regional center projects, you invest only $900,000, but you don't really have a control. In other words, it's almost like a fund. And so this newly proposed bill is covering mainly regional center projects, because this is set to expire at the end of June 2021. So I will be covering everything you need to know. So stay with me and let's go and jump right into my computer, and I'm going to cover everything you need to know on these regional center projects. Let's do this.
Alright, so welcome to my computer. Let's talk about the reform, Eb5 Reform and Integrity Act of 2021. So as I already mentioned, the Eb5 program began in 1993, and you already know this. The main requirements are already discussed. So we are going to focus on the regional center program. So if you want to invest 900,000 into regional center programs, usually a $900,000 investment is required, and this is indirect investment. Now, this program is currently set to expire on June 30th, 2021. Now, this program has undergone intense scrutiny, and maybe you heard many times these projects are unfortunately subject to fraud, and therefore here in this proposal we are going to cover what is up with this new bill that is going to take care of the regional center program. So number one, what is being proposed is that the program will extend through 2026. Also, these regional centers will be responsible for overseeing Eb5 projects, to have policies and procedures in place to protect against fraud. Also, another requirement is that regional centers file proposed Eb5 projects business plans with DHS, okay, including the documents and marketing materials. Everything is done to prevent the fraud, basically. Another requirement is talking about disclosures to investors regarding material business risks and conflict of interest in Eb5 projects. DHS approval of business plans is binding for subsequent investors in the same project, unless there is evidence of fraud, misrepresentation, or material change. Strengthens the definition of created jobs. If you remember, with the direct investment, you have to create 10 jobs. In this case, we are talking about indirect investment, so you are not responsible for job creations. It requires regional centers notify DHS of significant changes to their structure. It requires DHS to audit regional centers every 5 years. It requires DHS to perform site visits to Eb5 projects. So these are all new things, right? Right now, that's not happening these days. It requires regional centers to provide annual statements to DHS and to the investors, accounting for investor capital and certifying compliance with program requirements. Requires background checks. Clarifies the Eb5 project offerings that are subject to U.S. security laws. establishes the Eb5 Integrity Fund, in which regional centers and investors would pay fees to be used by DHS to conduct audits and site visits. Requires that foreign agents and third-party promoters of Eb5 program abroad register with DHS. This is a very important piece of information here. The reason is, I attended so many of these conferences, especially in China, where many wealthy investors are interested in Eb5 programs, and many of these agents are just random people who are not really licensed attorneys. They don't really have qualifications, and they are acting like they know everything about these programs. And that was also one of the reasons why there is a lot of fraud going on. And in order to remove this, there is going to be a requirement to register with DHS, which in my opinion is very important. Strengthens ability of DHS to vet foreign investor capital to ensure it is lawfully sourced, including any capital gifted or loaned to the investors. Again, very important. Allows good faith investors who were defrauded the ability to continue participating in the program if they were not involved with the fraud. Provides increased authority to DHS to deny or revoke the approval of applications where there is a fraud, criminal misuse, or threat to public safety or national security. Provides investors and petitioners with administrative appeal review of certain DHS decisions and adjudications. Requires that investor capital be maintained in non-commingled accounts in the U.S. banks to prevent the fraud. Requires that Eb5 projects utilize a fund administrator or commission an independent annual audit. Integrity measures would take effect 90 days after enactment. So these are great news, guys, because as I already mentioned, a lot of fraud going on. And in my opinion, Eb5 projects are not necessarily the best projects for aspiring entrepreneur investors. I prefer to suggest different paths for my clients who are mainly investors, mainly entrepreneurs and business owners. And usually we invest into their own businesses from scratch. And instead of actually investing $900,000 into regional center project, especially if the return on investment is not secured, you are taking care of your future, you're taking care of your business, and you are taking care of basically you and your family, and you want to live that American dream. So in my opinion, Eb5 program is not the best one. As well as even if you do the direct investment, I usually propose alternative solution to my clients. And if you want to learn more, you're welcome to join my upcoming training. This is a webinar training where you can register. Below in description is going to be a link. You can absolutely register and you can learn more how you can actually start a business, scale it to 7 figures, and then get your green card, live your American dream. And that is exactly the path I took myself. And trust me, it wasn't through Eb5 program. So again, thanks so much for tuning in. If you're new to my channel, make sure to subscribe. Stay tuned for my upcoming videos, and I will talk to you soon. Have a great day.